Alright guys, in today's video I'm going to be doing a tier list. This isn't going to be super typical how I'm going to lay this out, so obviously there's going to be some crossover between how strong a unit is and where it ends up on my tier list, but I'm more concerned with where I think you should be investing your resources more than how strong it is. That's just kind of like my hierarchy of like priority. So I'm not going to put anything in the S tier unless I know for sure I don't think you would regret long-term investing in the character, because I know a lot of you guys are free-to-play or light spenders like myself, and you know, the worst thing to do is to just dump a bunch of resources, even if the character's good, if it might not necessarily be good, you know, 6 months to a year from now. So that's how I have it prioritized. I'm going to put a link in the description of, in my opinion, the best tier list that's out, so you can reference it. It's you know, very well done. And yeah, so with that being said, I'm just going to hop into the tier list real quick. So let's see. Why can't I find you? Cassidy. Okay, so Cassidy, I'm going to it would probably help if I didn't try and move OBS and I actually moved the actual tier list. So Cassidy, I'm going to put in risky. She just doesn't do anything that's particularly amazing. There's other light bearers that I would rather use my acorns on than her. You know, she's not necessarily bad. I just don't see any reason to actually, you know, use her or care about her at the moment. Scarlita, I'm going to put under risky as well. So while she might be really good and she has an execute ability like Odie, the Hypogean Celestial units take so much time and effort and resource to build up in such over a long period of time, especially if you're free to play, you know, to get them like Supreme Plus, for example. I'm just not comfortable with saying that you should just guaranteed invest your resources in them. I think it might even be a lot safer to just get the resource that you need, you know, the Stargaze Station resource, and just hoard them and at least see like maybe the next Celestial Hypogean unit, or maybe even the one after that. See if they're good enough, if they're better, because obviously they're going to incentivize, you know, making more powerful units to get people to spend, and you know, power creep's the thing, right? So same thing with Burial here and Donnell. You know, sure, they're great, you know, once they're ascended enough, but again, it's like, do you really want to invest in one of these three and then down the road a better one gets put out and now it's going to take you so long to get them? So for me, I'm just going to hoard my Celestial Hypogean resources unless I go for Raynor, who, you know, is just is really, really strong. You know, there's no doubt about it. He immediately has use with just one copy, unlike the other three where he can swap the front and the backline units. And he's the best Dream Realm debuffer after he unlocks his EX weapon. And, you know, he's just immediately useful. Again, does that mean I think you should just, you know, every time just go for Raynor pulls? I don't know. If you can get close to the in-game content, or, you know, basically, you know, get to the complete in-game where you've, you know, beaten all the levels there is to beat and everything, and you don't need them, then don't invest in them. I say if you're free to play or close to it, don't spend or your resources unless you have to. I think Vala is safe to invest in. The problem is that Lightbearer teams in general just don't seem to be as strong as Graveborn and Wilder teams to me, but she is rate up. And so it'd be a good way if you're starting your account to get a lot of copies, have a highly ascended unit, and she does interrupt the backline, which is really hard to do. And really the only other unit that does it, you know, that you'll see is Sylvina, and I think she's okay. You know, she gets into the backline. It's just that she's so squishy early until she gets her shields, which doesn't happen until way later. So again, I don't think she's that much of a priority. I think it's very safe, almost in the for sure category for me. For Rowan, getting the energy ramp is crazy, so you can win your ultimate battles. He has good healing, you know, provides haste. He's just a good unit, right? Brutus, you can put into ignore. He's fine at the beginning because he has that invulnerability after he would die. So he seems like he'd be a good tank, but he just doesn't scale well. And mid-late game and every other mode, he's just basically absent because, you know, he sucks. Human is probably is my favorite healer in the game. Has the greatest healing output. She gets rid of debuffs. She provides haste later on. She's very, very powerful, and her healing is global, unlike Rowan that only provides 2 potions within 2 tiles. So she's just fantastic. You'll never feel bad about investing in her. Next we have Thorin, so he's also for sure best tank in the game. Brings himself back, so he makes sure that your tank keeps tanking. He deals an absolutely ton amount of damage. He has life steal. He's a debuffer. He's just insane. Arguably the best unit in the game. Thorin's nuts. Go ahead and max him out. It's fine. Is her name Cassidy? No, Atlantia, whatever. This chick, garbage. She doesn't do anything that's remarkable. Nothing that's worth your investment. It just doesn't do you any good to invest in her whatsoever. And again, she's also a light bearer, which is, lacking at the moment, let's just say. Temesia, is that how you say her name? Where are you? Yeah, Temesia. I guess that's how you say it. I think she's safe to invest in. Really, if there was a tier in between safe and risky, that's where I would put her. She's completely fine. She doesn't do anything that's like, particularly amazing, but for a light bearer, she's completely fine. She does ride over obstacles and such, which is interesting. There's not that many that do that. Against the Necro Draken, the Dreamworld boss, he does make like a crest on the board that does a lot of damage to the units that's in there, and she moves. So I mean, there's some utility for her. She has a good disruption ability. It's whatever. If you want to invest in her, I think it's fine, but she's nowhere near. I'm gonna put her in risky because she doesn't belong with any of the other ones. I don't even remember this guy's name. He sucks so bad. Lumont. You can just ignore. Just a garbage tank. Smoky and Murky. Absolutely amazing. Not quite global healing, but close. Again, provides haste. Heals from the very beginning, so you don't have to wait for him to ultimate, unlike Rowan and Huon. So he's just constantly providing that HP. When he does get interrupted, though, it does take him a second to get back into the groove, but he's really, really strong in Dreamworld, allowing your units to deal more damage over time. And, basically the global healing in Dreamworld, because the maps are so small that you're almost guaranteed to get all your units, or, 4 out of the 5 units are going to be buffed by him and being healed by him. And, just absolutely broken for Dreamworld and basically every other mode in PvP. So I have not played with the next unit basically at all, but actually I played a run with him in Honor Duel, but that doesn't really count. As far as I know, he's used in a lot of Mauler teams, but again, Mauler teams are not. Again, I think they're subpar to Graveborn. I think they're subpar to Wilder. And I just don't know if it's worth investing in him at the moment. It's just, there's nothing like super special. Aaron, totally not Legolas. I want to say he's probably safe to invest in. He sucks big time early. Late game, you can make it towards all goes off early. And he's on this team with Carolina and Arden, and the damage output is nuts. But it's like, who knows how long that's going to be the case. But if you're trying to build a Wilder core, it could be completely fine. Granny, great tank. I love her crowd control. I love her healing. I love her taunt. Everything she does is awesome. I went through the game with her and Thorin, and love them both. Brian's definitely safe. Is his name Brian? I don't remember if his name is Brian or not. Yeah, it is Brian. Okay, so I know he stuns. Apparently he does get the ability to revive later on. Mine's nowhere near getting his EX weapon. I know he's on a lot of like late game Wilder teams. So, go for it if it so pleases. This is same kind of thing with Carolina, where it's like she sucks early and apparently she's very good late. I haven't had much experience with her yet, but that's mostly because I've only spent like $70 on my account. So There's a lot of units that are underleveled, but again, she is in that team with not Legolas and Arden, so that damage output on that team is absolutely crazy. I'll put Arden in the same category just in case. Leica, I'm gonna put way up here. So everyone talks about how good she is in early game, and then she falls off. I completed the entire game with her, Granny, and Huon as my core, and I think she's really great. She's an A tier hero, so she's easy to level up. You definitely won't regret investing in her, but if you wanted to think about even like more of a long game than her, then Brian's probably just a better investment. But Brian's not as good early, but like I said, Leica has got me through the entire game. I was in top 100 in PvP on my server. Cleared the entire game, the towers, the abyss, all that stuff. So she's definitely safe. Igor, same thing. I think he's a safe bet. Just a good frontline unit for the Graveborn. Really obnoxious in PvP because he hops around on top of the tombstones and he's kind of hard to kill. He's pretty obnoxious. I actually really liking him in Honor Duel, but that has really nothing to do with this tier list. But he's a safe bet. Cecia, I would just put in for sure. Like, you're never going to worry about if it was worth investing in her or not. Summoning Carlisle is another tank who also does AoE damage, who also crowd controls, and she has that basic attack that gets upgraded later that also stuns someone at the beginning. She's just absolutely insane. I love her and Granny on the same team to just have a ton of crowd control, even though that is unusual to do. Just how I like to play the game. But Thorn being the best tank, having her behind Thorn is just you're setting yourself up for a really strong core to run through the game with. Valen is total garbage. I don't even remember her name. Is it Muriel? It's like Muriel or something like that. What is your name? Mariel. Yeah, she's also total garbage. Marley. You can definitely invest in her. Just know that she really just shines in Dream World, but she shines very well because she does true damage that stacks, and she does really good damage against the bosses, but she's just kind of okay everywhere else. But Dream World is a mode that you're gonna have to play all the time for the resources there, and so she could really help you get to those like 15 million threshold marks. So I say there. I would ignore Lucius. I maxed my Lucius out, not knowing any better when I first started playing the game. I find him to be very fun. I like the idea of a tank that provides shields that heal and all that kind of stuff. It's just that he has a very low presence on the board, especially late game. He can get taken out very easily. Again, it's like this sad Lightbearer story of like nothing they have is like super, super good. Corrin, I put like somewhere like around here-ish. Corrin is good against the Necrodraken as well because he hops out of the way of the boss attack. He provides shields. His damage output's pretty good. He does AoE damage. Like, he's fine unit. I just don't know how much you want to like, really invest in him, especially when the game is so new versus the things on like the top 2 rows that we know are just better. Arden's like really, really late though. Same thing with Carolina. They should be further back. I think it should look something like this. What is her name, man? I haven't used her in a million years. It starts with a V, I think. No, that's Faye. Is her name Faye? Yeah, it's Faye. Faye you can just totally ignore. Garbage. Odie's one of the best damage dealers in the game, and like Scarlita, he also has an execute ability, so when your opponent's health reaches a certain threshold, they just die, which is really, really insane. So you can just fully invest in this guy and be completely fine. I think it's actually Set and not Seth, even though he has an H at the end. I'm not sure. But, I think he's probably a safe bet. He scales in power as he kills units, and he has life drain. It's just that early he sucks. But later, I think he could be a lot better. Kruger can go into for sure. So he sucks everywhere else except Dreamworld, but he provides a physical defense debuff, which really helps you take down the opposing boss monsters. And so just know you really don't need more than like a copy or two of him early, and I would just keep it there. But he's definitely a good character and one that you're going to have to see to do well in Dream World. So Citrana, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. You can just ignore her. She sucks. And Tundra, she's kind of whatever. I don't think she belongs in the ignore category. She's definitely a better tank than Brutus. But again, she takes a lot more copies to get better. And again, I don't think I would run through the game with a Mauler team at the moment. Damien, I think you can for sure invest in him and not feel bad about it. So early on, it's not going to be quite as strong because the card that he makes that heals your units and gives them haste is equal to his HP. And so early on, the cart dies very quickly, but later on, it takes a lot longer for the cart to die. He's being used a lot more in PvP now because his healing and his haste buff is just really good. But just know, unlike Smokey and Murky and Rowan and Hewen, he takes a little bit more work to get going, but he's still a really good support unit. Is this Kafra? I think that's how you say his name. He sucks. Parisa also sucks. You can ignore her. Every time I look at this dude, I just think about Thresh from League of Legends. What's your name? Niru. I would say risky. I think he might have some kind of place in the future. His ability to bring back units that have fallen is definitely extremely unique, but he's very squishy and I find him extremely underwhelming. But there could be something really interesting to do with him in the future. Salazar sucks. You can ignore this guy completely. Viperian is definitely safe. He's basically the core, one of the core units of every Greyborn team. The DPS on him is just insane. He infects enemy units with snakes that give them slows down their energy regen. So like a typical like Greyborn core would look something like Thorin, Cessia, and Viperian. Be a really good place to start. You'll never feel bad about investing in him for sure. Reese. I don't know how you say this. You can just ignore her. She sucks. Walker also sucks. And your new unit's code name is Coco, right? Yeah, it's Coco. So this takes away crowd control and is a damage reducer. So I suspect that Coco will be good very soon if it's not already. It just hasn't been that long, and not that many people are incorporating it into their teams. I'm assuming because it just came out. I know it's going to be out for you guys on release, but I'm talking about playing on the beta test server. But from everything I'm hearing, reducing damage and crowd control is really good, obviously. So I think that would also be a safe bet. So hopefully that tier list was useful. I was just trying to make it kind of short and sweet. Didn't want to get into too much, but again, the stuff that's lower on the bracket doesn't necessarily mean that they're so much worse, like the Celestial Hypogeans. It's just that I'd be very cautious about investing in them before I do. And I would just focus on, the things closer to the top instead of trying to experiment and, maybe there's a certain unit that's really good in a certain team combination or whatever. And maybe that one situation makes it worth it to invest all these resources in. But if you're free to play in a light spender, I would just be looking really long term and trying to get units. Like if you play Clash Royale or something, it's like you're trying to, like when I did that, I upgraded Fireball and Log first because I knew those spells were going to be in every deck and they were going to be good forever, right? And so that's kind of the mindset I have going into this game when I invest in my characters. So again, hopefully you guys enjoy it. I've got a Dream Realm guide coming out, Honor Duel guide coming out, and a Labyrinth guide coming out this week. So like and subscribe if you're so inclined and check those out, and I'll see you guys next time.